Ted writes in, hey, I'm 60 and I'm getting $250,000 cash from my recent divorce. Don't know what to do with it. Okay. I have $1.3 million in 401ks in IRAs, $750,000 in stocks. I have a military retirement. I max out my 401k contributions. I anticipate working another 68 years, not looking for big risk, but I'm wondering about annuities or bonds. Maybe a mix of aggressive and safe. Ted. Okay.
And that was 6 to 8 years that he's going to be working, not 68, which is what it sounded like you said.
I concur. It did sound like 68.
6.
I'm going to work until I'm 118.
Anticipate working another 6 to 8.
Yeah.
There you go.
I had one time when I had a tax practice when it was a question about what a certain complex tax return would charge, and I said 4,000 to 5,000, and he thought I said 45,000. I said, "Wow, that's a little pricey." Yeah, but I'm worth it.
A little rich there, Al. All right, so this is a really good question because here's what the problem is with Ted's, thought process. Nothing against you, Ted, is that he's, what's the word when you he's looking at his investments in different compartments.
Yeah, in a bubble or whatever you want to say.
Right. So let's say his $1.3 million in his TSP or 401k plan is a 60-40 portfolio, and then he's got his brokerage account of $750, and then all of a sudden he gets another $200. He's like, now what do I do with this? I don't know how to invest it. I'm like, well, you're already investing. You know what I mean? What is the overall strategy of the wealth that you currently have?
Of all the money.
Not
just this one component. And Ted, you're about 60% in stocks. Maybe that's the right answer for you, maybe not. But if it is, then do the same with this $250,000. Or maybe 60% stocks is too much because you have a military retirement and I don't know what your spending is or how much you need from the portfolio. Maybe you don't need to take as much risk. On the other hand, maybe your military retirement is very good. You don't need to take a lot from your portfolio, but you want to grow this for whatever, for kids, for charity, or just in case.
Right, and I think this is a problem with people that don't necessarily have a financial strategy. Right? Here is my financial strategy. Here's the wealth that I have. Here are my goals. And how am I going to fund the goals is with these assets. So your goals could be retirement income. It could be passing wealth to the next generation. It could be paying off debt. It could be paying for kids' college. It could be a number of things. So writing down the goals is the kind of the first step, and then creating a strategy on how you want to accomplish it. So any dollar that comes into the household, you'd already know where to place it.
Sure. It's the same.
It's the same, right? Because here's the goals. This is here's the portfolio that needs to generate, X return for me to accomplish the goals that I've set out.
With one exception, Joe, and that is if you get a big lump sum, then maybe you don't need to take as much risk if your goals didn't change.
Yeah, then you change your entire strategy.
Right.
So with that big, let's say instead of 250, he got $2 million.
Right.
And now what do I do with it? Well, then you look at your entire wealth again and saying, well, what is the risk tolerance or target return that I need? Then you change your...
And do I want to increase my spending? And if you do, great. Then your portfolio should reflect that. Or if I don't want to increase my spending, then you should have less risk.
Right. It's, we get a question, well, I have $50,000. What do I do with that? I got $100,000. Well, what are you doing with your other assets? Are you investing that? Well, I don't want to take on that much risk. Well, why are you taking on that much risk in the first place?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense, right? So you just want to look at things in its entirety, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Are you prepared for retirement? Schedule a free financial assessment with an experienced financial professional right online at purefinancial.com.